All right. So we got a bunch of news about Ashen Iron right before it comes out. I mean, that's gonna be was it dev stream on Tuesday, like an hour before it launches. So Wednesday we got a like sandbox tuning preview with some details. Thursday we get the trailer here and a TWID going over a bunch of stuff. I've gathered a bunch of like the important things I've noticed in the trailer here, and then relevant stuff from the TWID and the preview. It's gonna be a little long of just like pausing and continuing, but first, Ikora's normal VA. Great that she's back. We have the normal things we'd expect from a new season, new Sparrow. Armor set is disappointingly similar to TechSec. This isn't in my notes anywhere. I'm hoping that it's just like they don't want to spoil what the new armor set looks like, so they've just had everyone wear TechSec and put on a shader. I think it would have gone out over a bit. If that is the case, it would have gone over better if they had just done regular TechSec or like Bushido. But continuing. Little notes like we've got Cabal and the Vex. Again, the Vex here. It's leaning more into be like, hey, yeah, we are dealing with the conductor. Hopefully, Ashen Iron, we just take her out. She's done. Because I'm a little bit tired of Maya Sundaresh. But we can see Cabal with the little collars on them. They are being controlled. There's no, like, from what I've seen, there's no like Siva Fallen. And it's like we shut down all the stuff, but at the same time, like Outbreak, you're using Siva nanites. There's always a case for like, hey, like Siva can be there. Stop like hiding from it. But right there. I gotta get to the right tab here so I can fine tune the controls here. So ammo counter here. We got 7 shots down to 5. Right here says 0, like has 5. So that's just 2 ammo counters there. If I go back to before they fire, it's a little hard to tell because the font is kind of similar there, but the number ticks down, and once the final of the 3 shots goes out, that one goes dark. But they shot 3 times. There's a mark there, a mark there, a mark there, and there. Now, that is probably somebody else shot. That, to me, looks like it's a rocket pulse like Mint, except when it hits, it leaves behind like a sticky bomb, and then you special reload to set them off. So if we watch it back. We're sending you in to investigate and take action. Be ready. So it's you tag them, special reload to set it off. It would be neat if it was like you could just like tag a bunch of enemies, then special reload and all of them explode. But now here, so they throw a grenade and then they rocket a Warhound or a Warbeast. Yeah. So going back just a little bit. This actually is the first thing over in here. So we saw the rocket pulse. This rocket is the start of like what I've noticed I think is a new weapon set that might be from the exotic mission. Because over here, these like the square, like not the squares, the triangles of like different colors, it feels very reminiscent of like Warsat stuff. Just that instead of being all black, it's blue and white now. Which does help a lot with like differentiating, make things look different. I feel like it is a little different from like the Ikelos stuff, but it's more like kind of like Sleeper or Outbreak. This might be from the exotic mission that we see later. So to the next assault point. They're running up to a ship that's like parked and in position. We can kind of see one more here and the Titans in front of the last one. Their ships are all there and waiting. Bungie did promise, oh, oops. Bungie did promise like new activity that's like unlike things we've done before. It's like they're running up to the ships that are waiting. Maybe this is like a huge space and you jump in your ship and then it flies you over to the next area. Possibly. I don't think it's going to happen, but if it, like, possibly we actually get to control it to fly over there. If we fly over there at all, it is probably going to be like automatically piloting us to the next spot. If we do get control, I expect it to be effectively that like the ships fly around like sparrows almost, but you're effectively just on a like giant platform that's invisible up in the sky, and you just fly over to the next area, dismount, and you just like transmat to the ground. So right there, I paused at the exact moment that the Warlock hits the ground. So Titan with Rally Barricade, Acrobat's Dodge, Hunter coming in, hits. That golden light is the Acrobat's Dodge. There's Warlock and Phoenix Dive. It goes so fast you don't even notice that they're there. And then Consecration. Dungeon Layers. They mentioned this a bit in the TWID last week, so like a week and a half before this is launching. There's stuff I'm a little nervous about with Dungeon Layers. So my hope, like the TWID doesn't really point to anything of like, hey, is this going to give you is this going to give you tiered dungeon layer? Can I, like, dungeon loot? Can I go into Warlord's Ruin here? Can I go into Warlord's Ruin and get a tier 5 Indebted Kindness? Or like a Naeem's Lance? Can I go into Duality and get a tier 4 Fixed Odds? Then there's the other little question. Pit of Heresy is the third one. So here, let me let this part play. Pit of Heresy, Duality, Warlord's Ruin. So Pit of Heresy here. The Pit of Heresy weapons are just the Altar of Sorrow weapons. So it's, was it Heretic, Blasphemer, and Apostate? A rocket, a shotgun, and a sniper. If we did get those as tiered gear, what's going to happen to Altars of Sorrow? If I go and do Altars of Sorrow, am I going to get like the tiered versions, or am I going to get the old versions? And as a side note, they add, hang on, let me go to the TWID where they talk about it. So here, this is, I literally copy pasted and put little notes. So they literally say dungeon layers are our way of bringing dungeon encounters into the portal through Pinnacle Ops offering. And will be available to all players looking for a challenge. The encounters will be familiar, but have been updated to work with Portal's modifiers and scoring system and Portal loot. Right there, and Portal loot is a kind of iffy one. Maybe it means it works, maybe it doesn't. it's a little too vague and up in the air there. But the 3 things being added is the first encounter of Pit of Heresy, where it's go kill the knight, the wizard, and the shrieker, and then rush through the room to head towards the maze. Duality, Nightmare of Galron, which just means it's the first encounter, and Warlord's Ruin, Heffin's Vengeance, which just means it's final encounter. So this is 2 first encounters and a final. It all depends on how this goes. Because there's a little question of like, if I do Heffin's Vengeance, can I have a chance at Fairy Bloodline dropping? Right, but there's like, but wait, there's more. For 2 weeks when Ashen Iron starts, so it's going from the September 9th to September 23rd, all 3 of the dungeons are available to everyone. So the same way that... Oh, did everyone have access to those dungeons during Rite of a Nine? I forget if everyone had access to them, or if it was just everyone... You could do regular Eternity mode, and it was... You would get stuff, like you could do challenges as if you had the regular dungeon. But Pit of Heresy, Duality, and Warlord's Ruin will be available for everyone. Now this is the spot that like kind of points to portal loot not meaning tiered dungeon loot. Because they say, if you'd prefer to farm dungeon-specific loot to fill out your collection in the portal, you can customize dungeon lair activities and toggle the new boon modifier Classic Collector. This will ensure that legacy dungeon rewards will drop in addition to portal rewards. These will be available to all players during the first 2 weeks of Ashen Iron, after which players will be required to purchase the corresponding dungeon key to earn more of this loot. Please note, the legacy rewards will lack seasonal power and gear tiers and are purely additive. This is the thing that like really shuts down the possibility of tiered dungeon loot. However, this could just be a like, hey, we know that when you play, sometimes like reissued weapons, like you will get one and the old version like is unacquired. Like I have Warden's Law from when it got brought back as a Nightfall weapon, but I don't think I have the original Warden's Law. I think I got a Better Devils during, what was it? Echoes? But I don't have the original Better Devils. So like there's these new and old versions, and possibly this is a, hey, like you'll get if you want the dungeon loot to fill out your collection. Maybe it's just helping with that. Probably not. It is probably no tiered dungeon loot. But this does help a little bit of like, hey, if I want to farm, like I want to get a set of the Warlord's Ruin armor for my Hunter, a set for my Titan, a set for my Warlock. Now, we don't know, like, does this require a B+? If it doesn't, which it's old gear, so it shouldn't require it, because it also doesn't get seasonal power or gear tier. It should not require a B+, then. Let me go on normal mode with a ton of boons. So just get all the transmogs. Now, this part down here isn't from the Twin. If Classic Collector gets added to the old seasonal activities, so this is Spire of Savathun, the Coil, Onslaught Salvation, all these things, then that could be used to give you the old gear. Because currently the way that you get like Season of the Haunted gear is by playing through Presage, which shows up like once every 2 months. So hey, maybe instead we get a Season of the Haunted activity and you throw on Classic Collector, and now you can get those red borders. Because as much as everyone says like no, we need tier 5s, Ikelos SMG just carried me through the Legend campaign of Edge of Fate on my Hunter. And I think 2 or 3 solo dungeons. Yeah, I think it was 3. Like 2.5. Old crafted weapons are still good. Old enhanced weapons are still good. Everyone's just overreacting about tier 5s. All right. So yeah, classic collector would help a lot because then we can get stuff like currently all like old seasonal stuff comes from exotic missions. And it's like the exotic mission that came out with that season. Season of Plunder and Season of the Witch do not have exotic missions, which means you cannot get those weapon patterns. You can only get them from going to Banshee or Xur. Xur, you have to pull from the like random spot, that's like random weapon, and that is a pool of everything. Which means the longer we go without a way to get these, the harder it is to get because the pool keeps getting larger. The only guaranteed way to get those weapon patterns is to buy them to buy the non-red border ones when they show up and use a deep sight harmonizer, which, by the way, very sad to say, deep sight harmonizer for sale at Banshee today, or not Banshee, at Xur today, which means they will now start showing up in there. Now, potentially, it could show up in the random thing where you get like legitimately random anything. By the way, you can still get upgrade modules from Xur. All right, continuing. So I just have a little note here of like we get to see a few of the weapons. Crucible slug, like looks like slug shotgun. Hang on. Let me scoot back. So it has I'm like 90% sure that this is the chaperone, like pulling it out animation. Right there, that blue thing, like tracking the muzzle flash. That feels like that's supposed to be arc because right here, there was like no special element there. This solar, I'm pretty sure, is just from other guardians in this fire team, like blowing stuff up over there. Or it might have dragonfly or firefly. But where's my notes? We have the forced memorializer, scout rifle, kinetic. That's what we saw there. The shotgun from it's clearly from Crucible or Comp. And then they say the shared pool, which I guess is certain things can show up in PvE or PvP portal activities, because rocket, that is a Braytech rocket. As we've seen with Ahab Char, Faustus Decline, I've forgotten the name of the scout rifle and the sniper. Shoreline Dissident is the sniper. I don't remember the scout. Oh no, Jurisprudent. That's the same design. This one is not the same one we saw before, because this is Strand. Exotic mission. Let's see. Oh, yeah, let's go a little further. So it's a little hard to see there. Hang on. I have to frame by frame. But over here, you can see it hits there. Then after that, then all these guys get jostled. It's a wave frame. But clearly void. It's got this same look to it. This one like really pushes my case of, hey, that looks a lot like the like Warmind weaponry. Also random scion. Actually, really quick, hang on. That's scion. So these are Coral Vex. They're Mayas. That is blue and gold. That could be allied scions. Like they could be Keitels, but they don't seem to have. Oh wait, no, that's the thing I've already spotted. This is probably dealing with, was it Yirix? The like scion rogue that like has kind of been like a looming threat in the distance for a while. This is either Yirix's loyals or this is the conductor. But that's the rocket we saw back earlier. It's got those same blue and white triangles. Mida Mini Tool. Finally getting its own reissue, not as Callus Mini Tool. So 26 seasons later, because we're in season 27, this is a Red War weapon, meaning this is from season 1. This is 26 seasons later. We finally get a Mida multi-tool reissue, not as Callus Mini Tool. Right there, it was very brief. The SMG I was talking about before, that's the same design and like similar design look as the rocket and grenade launcher. This one is very clearly Tex Mechanica. If you've played with, was it Boondoggle or Eartide Apex recently? Make every shot count, my friend. Right here. This is an important spot. I'm just going to remember 59 seconds here. 59 seconds. We will come back to this spot in a little bit. But I was mentioning when it got to be like get the weapons, I forgot to mention this when the Mida multi-tool popped up. It mentions the Call to Arms event, which if you saw the like conquest challenges back when Edge of Fate launched, we did see stuff of like Call to Arms bonus thing. I forget what it said exactly because I haven't looked at it. But it's something for Call to Arms. Really quick. But yeah, 59 seconds. Just yeah. Mida multi-tool and Sturm here are both being added to the featured exotic list, so they need to have their like companion legendaries updated. But we'll take a look more at that in a second. Right here. I'm gonna frame by frame like step forward on this. So they're swapping over to Drang. Now hang on, they fired immediately. Right here, it's hard to see. But see how like you have a pretty straight line going from the barrel all the way to the back. And I'll get back to 59 seconds. Here we have this bump. We have this random bump here. Now, I may have actually forgotten to copy this over. Let me check. I think I did forget it. Oh, it's in here. No, this was just saying like, hey, Mida Mini Tool and Drang are in there. I need to grab. It is a lot of text really quick. For sandbox stuff. A whole lot of information. It's literally directly under the featured exotic like additions here, like in the actual list. So the like adjustments and updates for Mida multi-tool, Midas software package, where like getting kills with the scout rifle improves stats, and you have to keep pushing past these thresholds. Each threshold you get 5% more damage against targets in PvE. And then at stage 4, you get effectively just explosive payload, but probably does a bit more. The important thing is this next one. Kills with weapons that have Midas Synergy intrinsic, that have the Midas Synergy intrinsic, also grant progress towards these buffs. Primary ammo Midas Synergy weapons grant progress at a rate on par with Midas Multitool. Why do you need to specify that? Why do you need to point out that primary ammo weapons make progress at the same rate? Because then I go down here for Storm and Stress. Rapid kills with Together Forever weapons within 3 seconds of each other now load extra Sturm overcharged shots. So getting rapid kills gives you, if I get 3 rapid kills with Drang, I would get 3 overcharged shots normally. Now you get extra shots plural, possibly like 2 or 3. So then 3 rapid kills with Drang, I get 6 overcharged shots. Now, the important thing, just like Midas Minitool, primary ammo Together Forever weapons load even more Sturm overcharge shots. Why do you need to specify it, and why do primaries get special functionality of they load even more? We see 2 clearly different versions of Drang here. One with this extra bit of bulk, and watch how it shoots this whole time. Every shot count, my friend. They spent like the only shots we saw with Drang were like up close, and like they were like there was like speed up and slow down from editing it for like drama and music. This is the rocket sidearm version. We are getting 2 versions of it. Like I guarantee it's 2 versions of it. One is a rocket sidearm, one is not. These buffs are going to be good for people running Sturm and Drang in PvP. Rocket sidearms are bad in PvP because of the travel time. And also Sturm and Drang, and then also Midas Multitool and Midas Minitool. They're forcing you to do double primary. And so now they're looking at it as like, hey, double primary does kind of suck. Let's fix that up so you're not stuck there anymore. So we're getting like Sturm and Midas Multitool will actually be viable outside of PvP now, even though they might not even be fully viable in PvP. But I believe we're getting rocket sidearm for PvE and regular version for PvP. They might have similar, not the same perk pools, because the rocket sidearm will probably have like beacon rounds, impulse amplifier, just because it has that travel time. Not sure what it's going to get replaced with on the primary ammo version. But let's keep going from where we left off. Crossbow. That isn't from the raid, so we have actual chance of getting crossbow if you're not in there. Ooh, did I miss something? Or are my notes out of order? No, I didn't mention it. Bungie is advocating for slide shotgunning in Crucible. Which actually, hang on, I think that is the shotgun we saw before. It's a very big purple flash. Because hang on, like that still has the same look of it here. is that a void explosion or is that a tier 5 special kill effect? We don't see enough after it. This is a big note that I think I also forgot to mention. Focus new weapons. We have not had weapon focusing. Like we technically have had some weapon focusing in Edge of Fate. If you go to the Altar of Relativity, you can pull a tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 engram based off of like if you've completed the base campaign, or it might be Legend campaign, Fabled, and then Mythic. You can pull an engram of one of those tiers. I believe it's like locked, so it's like I get a tier 2, I have tier 2. I get tier 3, I get tier 3. And that's not the same as what they're doing, as what focusing is. That's just I buy an engram, I buy a piece of loot at random. Focusing is different. It's I want this specific thing. So are we getting focusing back? Because that was the whole thing of like Revenant. We got the tonic system, which was iffy just because of how many different tonics there were, and there was so many different materials. The Tome of Want was great because you would say, hey, I want these 3 things. I want a weapon, I want it to be a scout rifle, and I want it to be like seasonal scout rifle. You could specify everything you wanted and it was great. Then continuing right here, I think this is kinetic, and actually from what we see immediately after this, they are holding the exact same SMG and swap to Drang. Drang is a solar weapon, so the SMG is in kinetic slot. So I think I can update my note here, like that's definitely kinetic. But we see the normal Drang, get the crossbow, then it's good to carry a gun. Better to have gun carry you. So currently, right now, heavy metal is active. I don't like heavy metal because this, like, loading into a match, moving around, and then just the score threshold makes everything feel like it takes way too long. The matches feel incredibly slow, and then for the title, like, the matches feel slow and they don't give enough progress on the reward track. The issue with the like not getting progress on the reward track is you need to do the reward track for the title. Like you can get everything else, but if you don't finish the reward track, you don't get the title, period. And it's an event that's only active for a week, which makes it feel like it is forcing you to buy ranks. It does not feel good. This is part of why like I was critical of like how Arms Week was done until they fixed it so you actually got progress from doing PvE stuff. My hope is that once this launches, I don't expect heavy metal to come back until Season of the Lawless, so until Renegades launches. But if it does come back before then, my hope is that running this activity counts. So it's like, hey, I get progress on that reward track by doing this activity. Then finally, stay in the fight. We're almost home. So that axe. That move does feel kind of similar to like the Scythe relic from Season of the Haunted, where you can slam it down. But it also feels like Throne Cleaver, the Titan sword, where the heavy attack was like you brought down in a big slam, which was actually a really good way of like if you needed to fall quickly, it worked really well. But like clearly solar. The big thing for it, let me get back to where they first show it. Right here. So it's clearly a Iron Lord axe. It's got the tree. It's like the axe is part of their whole look. And then there's these swirls around it that could be Siva nanites. And it expands out into the big axe. My guess is this is the exotic from the Warsat heist mission. Like, my guess is that this is the exotic, because we know that there's a exotic going into the heavy slot from in here. There's a redacted heavy slot weapon. So there's one for kinetic slot. That's the sticky bomb rocket we saw earlier, and then there's this one here. So I believe this is a like hyper specific activity specific thing of like, this is only for the activity, like nothing else, or this is a new weapon type, and with how like aggressive an axe feels like it should be, I think like in terms of having a melee weapon show up, like having more melee weapons, we've got glaives already. This feels like it could actually open the door for more special ammo swords, not just Ergo Sum, which could give us, like, so just an axe being a heavy weapon opens the door for a different weapon type to do something else. But having a special ammo eager edge sword, so you have mobility during something, and then you also have a heavy weapon for DPS. That feels like it could be like more viable and actually possible now. But that is it.
We're almost home.
Big slam, slow-mo pose, running along. This is actually one of the spots where like it highlights it really, really clearly. This is the TechSec armor, but recolored. Again, my hope is that they are showing us TechSec because showing the actual new armor set would be spoilers. That's just my hope. But they recorded everything with TechSec because they don't want to show off what's going to happen. I feel like the only thing that makes sense, if it is trying to hide spoilers, is Siva. Is like, we just get Siva stuff. I know Warlocks have a Siva ornament for Necrotic Grips. I think Titans have one for Syntheseps. I don't know if Hunters have a Siva ornament for anything. Actually, ooh, is that listed? Yeah, we have the armor. Okay, sorry. We have the weapons that are getting added to featured exotics. We also have the armor. Let me add that. Sandbox preview down here. Hunters are getting Young Ahamkara's Spine and Frosties. Titans are getting Stronghold and Hazardous Propulsion. Warlocks are getting Chromatic Fire and Controverse Hold. Another little note that they said was just how the all new gear from this season, so from Reclamation, so Edge of Fate, all the way through until Renegades launches, all of that will still be new gear when Renegades launches. So it looks like it's probably like everything will be new gear for a year. So that way you have good gear as you go into a new season. And then during that new season, you play more, you get the you play more, you get the new gear. So I play through Season of Lawless. I get Season of Lawless gear. I no longer need to run my Reclamation gear. So then when the next expansion comes out, when all of the Reclamation stuff is no longer new gear, then I still have a good set. Either way, like, new gear does just need to go. But yeah, I think that's all, other than just like, hey, yeah, there's some set bonuses. new fire team and solo ops stuff, which might be this stuff. I really hope not. But yeah, ride together, die together. When you pick up an orb of power, gain a brief period of rapidly decaying damage reduction. Too old for this. Defeating powerful combatant with a finisher grants you special ammo progress and replenishes a small amount of health. That is a 4-piece set bonus that just gives you 2 class item mods. Actually, no, it gives you a worse version of 2 separate class item mods. The special ammo finisher and healthy finisher. Granted, I think both of those do use armor charge. Actually, I think all 3 of these are... This is just a health font. Evan, this is special ammo and healthy finishers. But we are getting Iron Banner. We're getting another Crucible Ops set, and then the Raid is getting a second armor set, which I think that might be like the prestige stuff from D1. But this has already gone on very far longer than I meant for it to. Got a lot out of a 1.5 minute long video. All right. Have a good one.